The dawn of civilization. Primitive. Dangerous. Exciting. The handwriting is on the wall. If the human race is ever going to amount to anything, it needs
the most civilized caveman I have ever seen.
Look who's come out of his cave.
Hey everyone, this is James from Cave Dweller Music. I have my co-host Brendan with me, and today we have Greg Marsh with us from the band False Gods. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Of course. So do you want to just tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do in the band, and who the band is, really?
My name is Greg March. I play guitar in False Gods. I write the riffs, not all of them, but no, it's the group started between myself and Mike Stack, who was the singer, probably in about 2015, late 2015. And I would say we are like the main songwriters. I handle the majority of the music. He does all the lyrics. And that's about it. Our first release was 2016, and we've been trying to hit the streets as much as we can since then.
Nice. And I know you had a new album that just dropped very, very recently.
Yeah, the record dropped yesterday. It is called Neurotopia. It was recorded in Westfall Studios, which I think is in Farmingdale, okay, New York, in our hometown on Long Island. We recorded it actually last year, but it's seeing the light of day now. It got delayed because of basically it got delayed because of all the delays in production of vinyl and all that. So it's been a while. But it's finally coming out, and we're psyched. We want to fucking get this record out and make as much noise as possible.
Awesome. And so obviously it is going to be on vinyl. Where would people pick that up?
You can go to either seeingredrecords.com, or we actually have it on sale at our Facebook, at our Bandcamp, which is falsegods1.bandcamp.com. The vinyl isn't ready just yet. I should have it hopefully by the end of this month. But the label is we're taking pre-orders now. So, and we're also doing a run of CDs for this as well. So it's going to be 400 vinyl. The colors are up on there. And we have plenty of CDs to go around for everybody. So if you're interested,
yeah, the vinyl looks great.
Take a look at. Thank you, brother. I helped pick those colors out. Yeah. And they kind of match the colors on the cover. So I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking sick. Like, I feel like had I not been in this band and I saw that, like the record cover, the artwork for the record, it was done by a guy named Hal Miller. He's a homie of ours who's in Brooklyn, Ritual Designs. Look him up on Instagram. He's fantastic. He did the artwork for You're the Cobra's record, and he does a lot of artwork for a lot of the local bands in Brooklyn, stoner, doom, any type of really genre. So we've been working with him pretty much exclusively all year. He did the artwork for this record. We released the last record, No Symmetry, on cassette last year, and we did exclusive artwork for that, which he did. Nice. He did a couple merch designs for us. So not only is he like a good friend of ours, but he's a great artist. So we were really, really excited about what he came up with this time around. So I'm a big fan, and I hope everyone else is. So
yeah, awesome. It's great.
Brendan, I know you had some pretty strong opinions about the album that you would like to express.
I mean, I think it's great. You know, the
Thank you.
energy is amazing. Peliquin starts it off, and it's super amazing. You know, it's like the energy got that great little build up, and then you got it's just heavy. You know, and you have your like your hardcore kind of like vibes in there with like just like good sing along kind of material.
Oh, thank you, dude.
And then
thank you so much.
It's just like the bluesy guitar riff keeps going, like pops in and out through a few of these songs, and it's like it's a really nice touch. You know, it's so heavy, but then like also. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna go on a tangent here real quick. The cover you did of Integrity. That is immense, man. Like originally that song's like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and you guys made it like all over 8 minutes, you know, and it's fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a fun one. I had well, first off, thank you so much for the kind words. That's really that means the world to us. Yeah, I would say that this record in particular, we kind of embraced more of our, I guess, for lack of a better term, hardcore side. You know, there's a lot of D-beat kind of parts there, but there's also a lot more on the bone as well.
Oh, yeah, it's thick and heavy.
Besides hardcore.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I'd say
so
it's
the
like
cover,
sludgy. It's got like I don't know, man. It's good. It's fucking good.
Thank you. That's what we were trying to do. We're trying to hit all corners. They're like, there's some songs that we still have like 1 foot in our like sludge doom world. There's other songs that like have more of a like Peliquin almost has like an early like to me like early black death metal vibe to it, but just kind of like in our vein. And then there's some other songs like To Defy Purity, which is just kind of like brutal and like really melodic at the same time. The cover came about because when we were writing the record, we thought we were just going to do like an EP, like a 3-song EP. And like the 3 songs we had were kind of like, I think it was like Belief Crimes, Phantasmagoria, and I Cemetery. So they were all like kind of like hardcore-ish vibes. So we're like, yeah, we should just do like a hardcore EP and like do a cover at the end. So I started messing with, and Mike had suggested to do Integrity. So I was like, all right, if we're going to do it, I'm going to like make it like it's a False God song, not like just do the exact cover. So I just arranged it to like this epic kind of a thing. But then we're like, no, we're just gonna do a whole record. We scratched that whole like hardcore idea, but we kept the cover, and I dig it. We needed, you know, the record goes a lot of places. It's really heavy. It's really sludgy. It's kind of like got like there's, you know, songs with like To Defy Purity and like Your Thoughts Are Void are kind of like hitting new territory. So I feel like the cover at the end was just like us like having fun, just jamming, and Nick who plays lead guitar, and it just goes crazy. So it's like we just needed like a little space for us to kind of like have fun. So I really like how that cover came out. It was a lot of fun to do. I appreciate the words, man.
Integrity is like one of my favorite bands from back in the day. You know, like they got me out of like the straight edge hardcore. Holy shit! There's a lot of that. Like hard, like, you know, straight edge hardcore. But there wasn't a lot of like the darker side of hardcore. And then I like found Integrity as like a teenager, and it's like, holy shit.
Hey, just one second, guys. Brendan, your echoes come back really bad all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, yours too.
Did something change with the speaker?
No.
That's weird.
How's that?
Fine. Let's see. Brendan, try to say something.
Hello?
Better. Yep, that's completely fine. Sorry, just wanted to make sure we cut it out because it was like completely overlapping. You're good to
go. You were talking about Integrity.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we'll go from there. All right. So the yeah, Integrity was one of my favorite bands from being a teenager, because like, you know, all this hardcore music was, a lot of it was like, you know, straight edge and whatnot, and there wasn't a lot of like darker side, you know. And when I found Integrity, I embraced it. I loved it, you know. It was great. And yeah, seeing bands cover songs, like they're always awesome, you know. But like then this one, like done in your style, like was, oh, it's fucking awesome, man. Like the bluesy riff at the end, it just feels all wild. It's I don't know, man. You guys put a nice touch on it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a lot of fun to do. I'm happy. I'm happy it came out like not terrible.
Is that a song you ever do live, or is that more just like this is a one-time album thing?
I don't know. You know, so the band right now, the guy who played lead guitar, his name is Nick Luisi. He actually left the band prior to this year. Yeah. So I don't know if that will ever be a thing that we do live. But the record's just, it's not even really out just yet. So we don't know what we're going to do live. Now we have a lot of material between this record and the last one that we're kind of like, well, we should, you know, mix it up a bit, you know, as far as what we're going to do live. We're also going to be releasing a split with this Japanese sludge core band called Aburio. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it should be out probably by the end of the year, if not early next year. So we have like two new songs that are going to be coming out as well. So we have a lot of material to choose from live. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what's what.
Awesome. And then you guys have like 3 EPs prior to the last album as well, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but we probably will never play anything from Wasteland. Well, maybe. Well, actually, we've been playing "I Can See You" like the last song on that one. So,
Okay.
we've actually the last couple of shows we've been playing songs from all 3. But I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna we have like a week of shows coming up in September. Well, 5 days, like a work week. And then we're going to do a run in the Midwest come November. And there's possibly one more short tour we're going to do before the holidays. But nothing is set in stone yet.
You guys coming to Connecticut?
Possibly. I don't know. But what the hell was I going to say? I can't say the name of the band, but the last tour we're trying to work out is with like a New England band who's very legendary in our scene. So we'll see what happens. But the point being, we have a lot of shows coming up, so the set list is going to change. I don't know exactly what's going to be in it, but it's going to be it's fun to mix and match these songs. We're ready to get out there and do it.
Awesome. And then I guess something I wanted to ask was not necessarily just on this album, but in general, who would you say are sort of the biggest influences for the band, or just you individually, I guess?
Wow, I would probably say myself. Everything that like Justin Broderick does, I'm always a fan of, whether it's Godflesh or Jesu or any other sort of side project that he's involved with. Like that is my like number one, even though you might not really hear it a lot in our music. But for me, like from a writing standpoint, I'm always trying to like chase that guy. He's the man for me. So early on, it was, like bands like Carnivore and
nice. Yeah, Dystopia kind of lyrics. I get it.
Say that again.
I was gonna say that like Carnivore, like they're always like kind of like that angry but like dystopian, but like I see that in your lyrics, you know, like
Oh, big big time. That was a like even that and like early Typo Negative was like a band that we all were like that was like something we all agreed on. Like that guy is also a big influence.
The sad thing is, though, is like a lot of people that love Typo don't even know about Carnival. I talk to a lot of people. They're like, "What's Carnival?" I'm like, that's his other project. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know he had another band."
And it's like that's New
that's
York. You guys like New York is has a lot of fucking history and awesome bands. You know, a lot of genres.
Yeah. I mean, it's the cultural epicenter of the world. So yeah, you'll have that. There's God, as far as influences, it's kind of like, I feel like, yeah, I would say that, okay, so False Gods is part sludge metal, part like the hardcore that we grew up with. There's like a post-punk element to us and like a wannabe psychedelic sort of vibe to us as well. So it's kind of like a four-headed monster. I always kind of see it as, like we grew up on Neurosis and things like that. And like Yob, I love all that kind of stuff, even though like there's not really a huge, that doesn't really play a huge part of our sound. It's still influence-wise, it's still very much there. I like things like High on Fire because it's kind of like thrashy and stony and doomy. I think that's like a good, I kind of tell people like, who don't really know the genre too well, like, oh, it has elements of like Crowbar and High on Fire mixed with like Killing Joke parts.
Nice.
So, and I think people kind of go, oh, okay, cool. Mixed with like a singer who was like got a Billy Milano vibe. So I would say it's kind of all of that wrapped into one.
And I mean, that might just be me, but I also picked up like a little bit of Conan type stuff on the new album.
Oh, big time. Yeah. We've done a couple shows with Conan in the city. And
Awesome.
Yeah, big time.
Rule.
Absolutely.
Have you heard their new stuff that's just come out or just coming out?
I haven't. No, I heard it's fire. I heard it's supposed to be really good. But
very much so.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely awesome. And they're another band too where they're like they're extremely heavy. Like people who are into heavier subgenres will always respect Conan. But the stoner doom people, they have a foot in there as well. And that's kind of where we're at. Like we don't want to be locked into one subgenre. And we kind of want to hit all areas of heavy metal, of heavy music, whatever.
The band that always comes to mind for me that fills those same boxes that you just said is Dystopia. Like
big time.
People who love super heavy stuff love Dystopia. Stoner sludge people love it. Punk people love it. Like it's one of those bands that just kind of crosses every boundary.
They're another type of band that we're like, yeah, they're absolutely. That's another type of influence that we have as well.
They're from your area as well, right? They're around there somewhere. They're in the Northeastern band as well, right?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think they're from New York.
Utopia?
No, I think they're. I want to say I know this. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the Northeast, but I'm not actually sure exactly where. Let's see. Actually, shit. Okay, I was completely wrong. They are from Oakland, California.
Oh,
mine. I'm in California, so down my way actually.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't think they were an East Coast band.
Yeah, I don't know. They had that sound for some reason that made me think they were. It's like it sounds like it comes from a place that gets cold, but I guess not.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, that's funny. They don't sound very sunny.
No, yes. Put on like a Dystopia album, and be like, oh, I feel like going for a summer drive. Like,
yeah. You don't feel like going to the beach afterwards.
Exactly. And then I guess like, is this sort of the hardcore influence stuff that you've been working in more of? Is that sort of like the direction you want to keep going in, or is that just this is something we're doing for now because we want to focus on that sound? At this point?
I don't really know. I don't. As you know, what I love this record. It's definitely the best thing that we've ever done. I don't think there will be a Neurotopia 2 where there's that much hardcore influence. We kind of leaned on that a lot this record, but
I like it.
forward,
I mean,
I don't think that we're gonna stay with like songs that have that many. Like, if you kind of look at the history of the band, you know, we haven't released a whole lot of music, but each release has kind of been different than the last. So as much as like it's who we are, I don't intend to keep writing in that same vein as, you know, the next couple of releases are not going to be like the same as this record. But that doesn't mean I'm also abandoning it at the same time. It's just not going to be as prevalent because I don't want to be stuck in, you know, a lot of people will say that the name and like, you know, this hardcore thing now keeps coming up. Like, it's cool, but like, I'm not trying to be a fucking hardcore band, you know,
Right.
all the time. You know, I'm not going to be like, all right, and we have to write this fast part so kids can potentially mosh or whatever. Like, I don't really foresee that happening. I want to explore new areas of the sound and what we can do, and I don't want to be stagnant, nor do I want, you know, to be locked into something where we have to write a, you know, record to get some sort of recognition. It's not that. That's not what it's about for me. So
yeah,
the
man.
sound will continually evolve.
Good.
That's all I can tell you at the moment.
I think it's good. A lot of like
It's a
those
good
core
thing.
elements come through. Like, you know, I listen to you know, Reports from Oblivion and like The Serpent and the Ladder. Like, that was like my first album, like EP I heard from you guys, and I was like, holy shit, this band's sick. And then I'm like, oh fuck, they're from New York. I'm like, damn, this is sweet. And then yeah, I you guys have an awesome like that hardcore kind of influence like is definitely appreciated for sure though.
Yeah, I feel like it goes down.
It's more
easy,
like that
you know?
sing along shit, you know, where like you can be playing and like, you know, like people know your lyrics and you're like, well, come up and they're like have no problem like jumping, like hanging on, you know, and like or having like, you know, like getting the crew there. I think it's like, I mean, it's gonna happen, man.
Hey, from your lips to God's ears. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's I just don't want to like be forced to write a certain way.
You don't want to be pigeonholed.
Period. You know.
Of
now,
course.
like, so that's really all. That's where I'm at with that. You know, I don't want to be like, all right, now we have to write like these types of songs because that's what people expect from us. Like, that's not why I decided to be in this band and write and play music. You know, as much as like it's cool, like people appreciate it, but it's, you know, the only people I really care about, you know, is like the other dudes in the room. So, and I don't think any of us are really trying to stay in one like whole. Like for us,
Yeah.
where we went on The Serpent and the Ladder, I feel like is a direction that moving forward, we're gonna, you know, those type of songs we want to kind
like
of explore, like
slower, like more like
no
just,
symmetry. Say, I'm sorry.
I was like slower, like Misery kind of core, like doomy, like just
Yes, Misery core. That is fucking perfect. That is exactly what we are. Fucking miserable. That's so funny. Yeah, I feel like that will start. I feel like as a consensus, that those two songs, like the ideas that got started there were like some of the band's, like favorites. No Symmetry, we started throwing in more, obvious hardcore influences, and then we kind of continued it on this record. We kind of leaned into that sort of influence, but I feel like if we did it again, we're just kind of like resting on our laurels. Like we want to kind of explore what was started there, and just take it further. And those two, like where we were at, that musically speaking, to me is like the most interesting, that EP of all the stuff we have out so far. So I want to, moving forward, I want to kind of explore that option, those influences, that sound, those ideas. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But there's plenty of fucking gas in the tank, so we're ready to keep rocking and rolling.
And then I have a question that's going to go back a little further for you. When you were younger, like, what sort of got you into alternative and heavy music? Like, what were the bands that kind of shifted you away from mainstream stuff more towards this sort of world?
Wow, great question. I would probably have to say, off the top of my head, probably the local hardcore scene that was going around in the late 90s with bigger bands like VOD from Long Island, and then all those kind of local bands, Mind Over Matter, Neglect, Silent Majority, Trip Face. That, up until then I was probably into just Roadrunner metal and hardcore. Like, all that kind of stuff that was on that label, and Obituary and Biohazard, Sepultura, Type O Negative, Life of Agony, AF, Sick of It All, Madball. But once I started, I probably came to it a little later on, my local hardcore scene referring to, but that's probably what, for me at least, got me out of, not like any of those bands were like, Machine Head and Fear Factory were mainstream, but they were extremely popular. So like all the local stuff that was happening on the island, and in New York in general, that's probably what made me explore more music that was not on a Headbangers Ball. I would say that made me go deeper and darker, and just kept spiraling from there.
And what do you kind of think of, I mean, like, I know that you've heard of it, but like there's sort of a new movement, I guess, in hardcore that's I guess, blending with a lot of other genres to create a new type of sound and style. So, I mean, I don't know if you know bands like Soul Glow or Show Me the Body.
Okay.
But they're both these sort of acts that are kind of coming up, I guess, at the moment, the last few years in the hardcore scene, and they're bringing in elements of like hip hop and electronica, noise, and that kind of stuff, and really branching out a lot more. So, personally, I view them as like a breath of fresh air. I really appreciate the risk they're taking. But yeah, what's your take on that sort of stuff?
I feel like there's only so much you could do with heavy music, right? So you have to start looking for other type of influences to stand out, to keep it interesting. I mean, there's a lot, especially now with how the music industry is and how technology is. The market, not just for heavy metal or heavy music, the market in general for music is just absolutely flooded. Absolutely flooded. We feel it on our end. And if you're not doing something that's going to have you stand out, you're just going to get lost in that void. So all these young kids doing, you know, different takes on different genres of heavy music, I applaud it. I really like, as far as young bands are concerned, I really like that portrayal of guilt. That's very hip with the kids.
Yeah.
Dude,
I do. I think they're actually pretty, I'm 41, but like, I think they're fucking great. I don't care. You can make fun of me.
So good.
And there's this new band. They did a split with Portrayal of Guilt called Chat Pile.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're great.
They're fucking incredible. They're my new favorite band. Yeah, without a doubt. That's like just first like the two bands that kind of come to mind that are doing like
they just did that album,
weird things in a heavy metal vein, but I love it. I think that shit's great. It's important for the music. It's important for the culture.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was just gonna say, Chat Pile just has a new album coming out in 5 days.
I heard it. It's great. They're playing Brooklyn 2 nights in a row. The first night sold out, so
awesome.
I can try to get out there. Yeah,
nice.
And yeah, I fully agree about Betrayal of Guilt. Absolutely, that was my top albums of last year. That one that they brought out.
Yeah, I got to see with Body Void and Uniform, and that was freaking sweet.
Oh yeah, those are the other two bands. I mean, Body Void has that Primitive Man vibe. Yeah, they're fucking unbelievably heavy.
It's funny you say that because I literally just saw Primitive Man and Body Void together like a week and a half ago, live.
Yeah, that's crazy. That tour has been going on for a while.
It was so cheap. It was $16. $16, man. I'm like, as if I'm not going to go to that. You know, like how could you not go to that for $16?
Yeah, it was like what, 6 bands or some shit.
Yeah, it was a crazy live. I was in with Jarhead Fertilizer, Elizabeth Color Wheel, and Spirit Possession, I think was the last one.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. I wish there was like we had more like stuff coming around like this way, you know, like Hartford's got like a bunch of little venues, like New York's got a bunch of stuff, but it's like it's a 2-hour drive. You're like, God damn it, New York. Yeah,
I'm in San Diego, so I'm super lucky. Like almost everything comes through here.
Yeah, it's that's kind of the benefit of living in a major city. You also get inundated with so many shows that you're like, oh, I'll just stay home.
Yes, it is a thing. It's oversaturation. It's too many options. You're like, there's like 7 things in the next like 6 weeks.
Right. It's festive
season. Trying to like pick a show you want to go to. Try booking a show in Brooklyn. It's just like, oh, cool. Any day of the week you're competing against not only just other musical acts in the same genre as you. It's like there's 2 or 3 shows, you know, in our world going on at least every day. So it's like it's inundated with a lot of bands. It's flooded. Extremely competitive, you know, it's crazy, especially post-COVID now. Like I feel like, you know, even still this year 2022, I still feel like everyone's just fucking trying to get out there and just trying to, and it's still people feeling the effects of the pandemic. So the market is still flooded for live music.
Everyone, everyone's touring.
Yeah, they got to. You know, some of these bands, even if it's not their main source of income, if it's like a side thing, they still got to tour and they still got to get out there and try to make a couple bucks and sell records.
The thing is, everyone's charging such a reasonable price at the moment. Like literally everyone's like gig prices are affordable. I'm seeing I Hate God and Mizmore like a month and a half, and it was like $20. I'm like, dude, I Hate God is like that's $20. Like, why is it so cheap for I Hate God? You know what I mean?
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Right.
Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow will bring?
Exactly. Yeah, who knows if they're going to stop gigs again at any point in the near future. They're talking about bringing masks back again, so indoor shows might be put on the back burner if things go that way.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean,
out in California, out in San Diego?
Yeah. They just started bringing masks back in schools this week, and then they're talking about doing an indoor mask mandate again in the near future. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's in discussion.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, we don't want to get political on here, but yeah.
Not that it's political. I mean, but at the same point in time, it's like, I guess, you know what? We just won't talk about that.
What it is.
Yeah, we'll skip over that.
Good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm vaccinated.
Me too.
I'm fine, you know, but like, you know, I'm not going to say it where I don't love wearing a mask. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
I have no problems with it if I had to do it again. It's cool. But it's not my first choice.
Yeah, definitely agree there. It's just one of those things where it's kind of hard to put the genie back in the bottle. I think because people are at a point now
I think so. Yeah, I agree 100%. Now that it's off, it's well, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I was gonna say we got some the next big thing that's coming here is the Tattoo the Earth Festival. That's other than
Palladium.
Yeah.
I think some Nori's playing. They're from Brooklyn. They're cool guys.
They're playing the night before, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're a good band.
They're a great band. Those are homies of ours.
Nice.
That dude can really play guitar.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. They're very cool. Great band.
Yeah. At the Gates is playing. I want to see them.
That's awesome.
Fun. Overcast.
Oh yeah.
Force is playing. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, that's a good little lineup.
Yeah, man. There's a few other bands.
That's a good little lineup.
So
that should be a.
Oh, sorry.
I think those tickets are only $60 too. It's the whole day.
That's cheap.
$55. Yeah, that's not bad. It's also I don't know. I assume that they'll have a whole spot for tattooing or getting tattooed and all that. So
that's the other thing that's been happening since they lifted a lot of those bands is absolutely stacked festival lineups. Did you see Psycho Las Vegas's lineup this year?
Oh my god!
I went last year.
Oh
yeah.
Really?
Oh, I remember you posted videos of that. Yeah, dude.
It was badass. It was unbelievable.
So it's because Brendan and I, we just started going to MDF this year, and it might be the last one. So we're just trying to think of what we can do next year as our big festival. So do you recommend that one? Do you think that's
Oh yeah, it's a blast. It is we went. Me and my wife went last year. It was at Mandalay Bay. Mm-hmm. At that point in time in the summer, the mask mandates were pretty heavy in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, it was fucking killer, dude. It was just so much fun. They have bands at the pool. There was there's a venue. There's several venues in Mandalay Bay,
Wow.
And then there's on the casino floor, they built the stage where you could watch a band.
Wow.
I don't really love festivals. This was the best festival experience I've ever had. It was fucking great. And the lineup last year was killer. It was just so fucking killer. This is more of heavy. I would love to go again this year. This is more of I think Emperor's playing and Satyricon and I think Mayhem and shit, more heavy black metal kind of a thing. But it's go. Even if you don't like the fucking bands, you're gonna have a blast. It's
it's Vegas as well. So it's I've never been to Vegas and not had a fun time. So
right.
Yeah. Right. And it's cool because the there's so many bands all day. I mean, it starts at 2 in the afternoon, and then it'll go to midnight. So you're not really getting caught up in too much Vegas touristy bullshit. Kind of
nice.
You can pop into this show and that show, and then kind of hang out and then come back, and then there's still bands playing, still people hanging out, and people hang out all night till 2, 3 in the morning. So it's something I would highly recommend. It's a great experience.
That's awesome. I like the fact as well that they mix so many genres in. I'm looking at the lineup right now. There's the headliners are Emperor, Suicidal Tendencies, and Merciful Fate, but then you've got Mayhem playing next to Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Ghostface Killer's there next to Carcass. It's crazy.
Yeah, and all that shit goes over. I mean, no one has a bad show, and you really have to try to suck to have a bad show at that because everyone's just everyone's having a blast.
That's awesome. Okay,
I saw that. I saw all the hip hop dudes playing there too. That's gonna be killer, dude. Now I want to fucking go. Shit.
Yeah, I think next year we'll probably end up trying to do that. I think that'd be fun.
because we just hit up MDF for the first time, and then they're like, "Oh, this is probably the last one, at least for a while." And we're like, "Well, that sucks." Like we just got into this like type of thing. So yeah, definitely looking for something, and that sounds like it might be it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
Sorry,
I've never been to Maryland. I've never been to the Death Fest. I heard that they weren't doing it. That's a bummer. That's just bad for, I guess, just metal or heavy music in general. But Psycho Fest is more of a party. It's more of like an adult. I mean, it's way more expensive, but it's more of like an adult party.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that other one?
Like hanging out in a parking lot for me, like with crusty punk metal dudes. I'm like, I'm 41, I'm too old to do that shit. But whatever. I mean, I would do it, but I would much rather be in the casino, and fucking drinking and playing poker.
Yeah.
Have you heard of
digital poker
Weekend?
Hello?
Hello? I think we lost you for a second. I was just saying, have you ever heard of a festival called Wasteland Weekend?
No.
One of our guests told us about it, and we like Brendan and I are like, someday before we die, we want to go to that type of thing. But it's like it's a Mad Max themed festival. It's an industrial festival, industrial metal. But like the industrial metal festival in the middle of the desert, in the Mojave Desert, and it's completely Mad Max themed. And there's like everyone has to dress in costumes, so you have to dress like a wasteland like raider type thing. And then you have tribes that you set up your camps in at the festival, and there's like missions to get like drink tokens and I guess free substances other than alcohol. And then people build like flamethrowers and hot rods and stuff, and there's giant mechanical things. This looks insane.
Yes, sign me up for all that shit. That's another huge, that's another big part of our influences. Like Mike is definitely like a comic book guy, a movie guy, like a Conan, all that, cyberpunk vibe. Mm-hmm. That's where a lot of we got our cues for the artwork for this record. And we were both very much into, industrial metal, Godflesh, nice. Frontline Assembly, Skinny Puppy, huge influence, Ministry, all that kind of stuff. Big time. So that's another part of. That's why the cover looks like the cover, because we were very much.
Because it honestly looks like it could have been like an industrial metal album. Like that has Godflesh vibes all over it, and same with your logo as well. Like a lot of your stuff, just I see it.
Thank you. The movie Strange Days. It was a dystopian movie in the 90s. It was about LA. That's where a lot of the inspiration for lyrics and artwork came from. So that's a big one.
The show with Ralph Fiennes, right?
Yes, and Angela Bassett.
Right. I think I've seen bits and pieces, but I don't think I've seen the whole thing. I need to actually watch that in full.
Same.
So
Mike's more like the movie guy, but I've seen like bits and pieces. It had I know Prong was on the soundtrack.
Soundtrack.
Prong was, I don't really love Prong. I'll be honest. I like Cleansing and like Prove You Wrong and here and there. But Prong was from New York. Prong, they came right out of, they were playing like thrash metal and hardcore shows. Like they started in the late 80s. Yeah. And then they became like industrial dudes.
I will clarify as well. When I say I love Prong, I love Cleansing, Prove You Wrong, and Beg to Differ. And then everything after that,
me too.
Not so much.
Okay, cool.
Those three, I just see that as like quintessential Prong. And then I guess maybe the last one is worth listening to is really Rude Awakening. But after that, it's not my thing.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I saw Prong open for Danzig like 5-6 years ago, and they were doing like Cro-Mag's cover. I was like, oh, please, just stop. Just stop making music. Give it up. They were so bad.
That's a shame.
Whatever. They're not going to listen to this, so they don't care. I don't care. They'll talk shit.
But if they do and they share it, that'd be pretty sweet publicity for all of us. But
yeah.
Look at these assholes
talking
shit about
False Gods. Tommy Victor.
But Ministry is a band that they've been kind of hit and miss, but I feel like every time they do a bad album or two, they come back with something solid. Like, you know what I mean? They've never lost it. They've just had dips where it hasn't been as good.
I guess so. Yeah, I haven't. To be quite honest, I haven't really been paying attention. I rediscovered Filth Pig. I think it's listenable, but I don't think now there's like a faction of people who will argue that Filth Pig is better than Psalm 69, and I'm like, no, that's crazy talk. You know,
it isn't.
It's not like, because Filth Pig was a big flop for them in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't think it's awful. It definitely is not better than Psalm 69. But I feel like they are very, I guess so. I met Al twice when I was a kid.
Oh, nice.
He I'm not going to go into it, but he keeps it real. Al is someone who is like, when keeping it real goes wrong, because the guy is like, have you read the book? Have you read his book, his biography?
No, I haven't.
Autobiography. Yeah. Well, if you read it, he's that fucking crazy in real life. He's just like, he is absolutely out of control. Like the guy that image he puts out, you know, in the media, it's not an image. He's it's amazing that he's still alive. Let's just put it that way.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read that. I find him fascinating. The band fascinating. He's such an odd dude in a super interesting way.
At the core, he's pretty a genius, but he's very intelligent, and he caught on to something very, before anyone was really doing it. And he's got big balls of brass.
Yeah.
Big King Kong sized balls. But he's a visionary. He started really that, I wouldn't say he started it, the whole genre of industrial music, but he, for a while, perfected it. I
think
I don't know about those last couple of records.
KMNDF is like those two guys. I mean, the KMFDM and Ministry are probably like two of the original big bands, I would say, in the genre.
Of like industrial metal.
Yeah,
like
industrial metal.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Of course, I remember Helmet.
Yeah,
my buddy Dave plays in Helmet.
No shit.
Dave, their bass player Dave Case is a homie of mine. He grew up on Long Island, and he is their bass player.
That's sweet. Yeah, I gotta do a show
they
with
definitely have a.
Sweet.
Yeah, now Paige lives in LA, and he's he flies all those dudes out to do tours and shit. He doesn't want anything with. They want no business with like little old us. But it would be. I mean, I'd be into it. It'd be cool. What the hell was I gonna say? Yeah, I love all that like Helmet, Unsane, Fudge Tunnel,
Unsane Rule,
Godflesh, like all that kind of metal is, definitely a big part of our influences. I don't know if it really comes out in the music, but it's definitely a big part of our influences. I love all that noisy kind of shit.
Yeah. Like I'm super into like 90s and 80s like noise rock stuff. That stuff is awesome.
Jesus Lizard.
Yes, I absolutely love Jesus Lizards. And then there's was it cop? Is it cop kill cop or cop shoot cop?
Oh yeah, they were from New York too.
That stuff's fun.
2 bass players, 2 draw. Oh yeah, they're a great band. There's this band that was on the same label, Touch and Go, as Jesus Lizard, called Dozer.
I know Dozer.
Fucking Dozer is another big influence. You don't hear it in our music, but that's a big part of our influences. Totally, I love Dozer.
What about because I'm a huge fan of like Big Black, Shellac, Scratch Acid, all that
Yeah.
stuff. I stuff.
You know what? I got into that stuff later on, like the last 5 or 6 years. But yeah, I like Big Black, definitely. Set Me Off, the Gasoline. Yeah.
Yes, that song rules, dude.
Yeah.
That
I
dude
love all that shit, man.
That dude was just so prolific. Steve Albini. He's like the king.
He's another visionary.
Yeah, another visionary.
He's a visionary, and he's an unbelievable producer.
Yeah, nothing else sounded like
all those records that he makes with like Neurosis and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like shit, production wise that I constantly chase, and like that's, I don't know if it really works for the style of music we do, but like when we were doing the No Symmetry thing, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to work with Colin, because I thought that he had some sort of similarities in those like Neurosis styled records that Albini did with them. Yeah. Very atmospheric. Do
you know Slint?
Slint, yeah, I never really got into Slint. I mean, I know that one record with all them in the lake,
Spiderland.
Yeah, I haven't really like dug into it as much, but recently I have.
So what I would say that album, if you kind of listen to it enough times, you start to pick up bits and pieces from it. And you're like, the more you listen to it, the more you realize how genius it is. I guess that's how for me at least. Every time I listen to it, I like it slightly more than the time before.
I gotta check it out. Now I gotta check it out for real.
Yeah, listen to it. Like, honestly, it's one of those things that I recommend listening to in full. Because, some albums you can put on a couple of songs and like, that was great. This is one of those things that's like, I don't know. You just need to experience the whole thing start to finish and then be like, okay, that was that. But yeah.
Okay.
I recommend it. Because once you listen to that, you'll hear other albums from other artists, and you'll be like, "Shit, that's like they picked that up from Spiderland." I've heard it in a bunch of songs from other artists. I'm like, they definitely like were influenced by Spiderland type thing.
It seems like they're that type of band where they didn't sell a whole lot of records in their day, but everyone who bought their record started a band.
Yeah, 100%. That's it.
I don't really know a lot about it, but I see that record constantly. So that I feel like they're one of those kind of bands where they didn't really go over in their day, but they were highly impactful to other artists and musicians.
Definitely. So, I mean, there's a lot of bands like that, and some of them I don't appreciate. Like, do you know? Okay, I can't stand this album, but I know like people are obsessed with it for the exact same reason. Mutual Milk Hotel.
Yeah, I never really got into them.
Me either. I see that album everywhere.
With the drum head on the yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, I'm not slagging it. It's just not my thing.
Exactly. I'm the same. It never connected to me, but I see that people love it and it influenced a ton of bands.
We're getting that echo again.
Yes, there it is. But
how's that?
Anyway,
better?
I've been taking it way off topic for the last like 10 or 15 minutes. Brendan, before we run out of time, do you have any topics you want to cover?
I was gonna say if you haven't checked out a band on this the rock genre, I'd check out Far Flung if you haven't already.
Okay,
they're a lot of fun.
What are they called again?
Far Flung.
Far.
I actually don't know them. I haven't heard them.
Duly noted.
Brendan, just to jump back, do you have any other topics you want to cover before we run out of time?
I was gonna say, well, where is the best New York City bagel?
Okay, so it's not technically in the city. Okay, so I'll go over this real quick. Like, I live in Brooklyn now. but I don't say I don't tell people I live in the city. I just say we live in Brooklyn. Like if you're like in the boroughs, like only like Manhattan is like what we refer to as the city. Everything else you just refer by like the borough name. Like when I lived in Queens, I didn't tell people I live in the city. You know, people like city people only recognize Manhattan as the city, right? So there is a bagel place in Whitestone, which is in Queens, called Utopia Bagels. That's probably the best bagel I've had in all of the 5 boroughs, even in Long Island too, because Long Island's known for their bagels as well. But yeah, I would say they've been on Fuck That's Delicious. They get any type of like best bagel top 10. They're always on there. The guy has his own. It's like a massive store. He makes his own. Obviously makes his own bagels, but like even the rolls. He has a deli and he makes sandwiches. Even the rolls for the sandwiches, he home makes everything. He does pastries. He's got a huge operation. So I would say Utopia Bagels, Whitestone, Queens, New York.
Fuck yeah. All right, nice.
What is the best pizza?
Ooh. The New Haven.
There's so much pizza in New York. It's like, it's brutal. It's just, it's absolutely overwhelming. I'll tell you this, there is a Detroit style pizzeria in Brooklyn, and they just opened one up, and I think Times Square, I'm not sure, or somewhere near that, somewhere in the city. It's called Ace's Pizza. It's Detroit style, so it's like it gets baked in a pan. It's not really like a New York style. It's kind of like deep dish, but there's no crust. There's no crust on a Detroit style pizza. That's what makes it different. But it's very similar. If I had to compare it to it, but it's like that is like one of my favorites. There's just so much pizza. Best pizza is a spot in Williamsburg, which is very hot. Southside Pizzeria is hot now. Oh my God. DeFara's is like kind of legendary. Luigi's in Park Slope. There's Ops in Brooklyn, in Bushwick, which is what's that guy who's doing that shit? I fucking forget. There's so much pizza. It's you can't even like. I get pizza, lost. I get Rose's. Rose's is a chain that started in Queens, and they're all over Queens. One's in Brooklyn, one's in Long Island. I love it. We used to live right next to a Rose's in Ridgewood. It's kind of overwhelming. Avoid the dollar slice if you ever come to like the city. You know, those kind of places. They're always kind of terrible. I would say. But there's so much goddamn pizza. It's like, it's overwhelming. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what the best pizza is. It's just like too much.
A pizza place for every hardcore show.
More.
That's how I felt about cheesecake when I was there as well. It's like a million different cheesecake places.
Yeah, I guess so. There's Junior's in Brooklyn. That's like
I like Junior's. I went to Junior's when I was there. And then like every deli does their own cheesecake as well.
Dude, Cheesecake Factory is fucking great too. I don't care.
I like Cheesecake Factory.
They do cheesecake. They do cheesecake They do cheesecake fine. They're good enough for me, you know.
100%.
I'm a big fan of Cheesecake Factory. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. Well, who am I?
The first time I went there, their menu actually gave me anxiety because the way
it should. I mean, it does. It's
it's immense.
Way too
dude.
fucking big.
It's like the way they hands you.
Storybook.
Yeah, he hands you like a novel, and he's like comes back in like 3 minutes. Like, have you decided yet? And like, dude, I'm on page 6. Calm down. Like,
yeah, I don't know how they survive, but they do.
Yeah. It's wild. Do you have a city or a town that you'll like never go back to? like playing music, live music?
No, not really. Baltimore's kind of rough. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way. But I would never not like. Baltimore is like, you've seen The Wire, I assume.
Yeah.
Or even if it's Baltimore's pretty much like The Wire.
That's where we went for MDF, the Maryland Death Fest. Recently.
Yeah. I mean, there's parts of Baltimore that are beautiful, but like the clubs we were playing in Baltimore were like, we need to fucking stop coming here because we might not make it out these days. Like, I haven't. False Gods hasn't played Detroit. We're going to this fall, but Detroit's one of those. Like, I played Detroit years ago with another band a couple times, and it's pretty real out there too. Those cities are kind of like you just go to the venue, you stay there, and then you just go right to the van, and then you go right to bed. You're not trying to hang out.
Right.
Baltimore is definitely, well, at least the parts of Baltimore that we were playing were definitely like, let's get the fuck out of here. Before we might not make it.
That's really well. Bad. On the opposite side of that coin, what was your favorite spot to play? Like, where you're like, I always want to go back to this spot and play.
Wow, favorite spot to play. I don't know if we've ever.
I mean, maybe it's just because the stage is big enough to fit everything. Like, I don't know.
Or favorite city, at least.
We like. There's this place in Harrisburg that we play constantly called JB Lover Drafts. It's got it's like an adult arcade.
All right.
It's got like Super Nintendo set up. It's got like horror movies playing. It's kind of themed like a 15-year-old's bedroom. The stage is cool. The people are always cool. Harrisburg's kind of a tiny city. But the food is always fucking incredible. We're always like, it's a place where like we're psyched to play, but like we're more psyched to hang out and like just drink and play video games and talk shit, So I would say like the stage is all right, it's cool, but like the hang is fucking a blast. Like we always every time we're doing like a East Coast story of the tour, we wind up hitting that place. So I would say JB's off the top of my head.
Hell yeah. What was your favorite concert to go to as a fan?
Favorite concert to go to as a fan? Holy shit. I have no idea. I saw when I was young, I saw Motley Crue when I was like 15, 16. I thought that was badass. That was and they were fucking, I don't know if they were doing that Generation Swine records, like when Vince like came back. So they weren't as horrible as they were now, but it was, we hopped like, it was like all my buddies from high school, I was like 16 or whatever. We hopped the little fence to like, to hang out, like in the general mission area. And we were like 2 rows away. There was like a heckler in the crowd, and like Vince Neil like jumped in and started like fighting with him and this whole shit. Nikki Sixx tried to like swing his bass and hit him. I don't know if that guy was planted there or not, because the tour didn't really do that great. So I think they were just trying to drum up some bad publicity, like looking back at it as an adult now, because that's something that Motley Crue would do because they're fucking corny. But, at 16, I was like, this is great. So probably, I know it's not like the coolest thing to say, but probably seeing Motley Crue at like 15, 16 was cool. Yeah, I don't know. Seeing the first Black Sabbath reunion with Pantera, that was cool. At 17, 18, I saw that. I don't know. Seeing Godflesh for the first time, that was cool. Seeing Swans with Chelsea Wolfe opening, years back. That was cool. I've seen a lot of shit, man.
Hell
I
yeah.
can't even-
What was
doesn't like-
the messiest show? Like the most, I guess when I say messiest, like biggest shit show of a live show you've seen.
biggest shit show? I don't know. Probably something I played that I've seen.
Yeah.
Probably earlier hardcore shows that would get broken up with fights. I saw so there was a venue in Long Island called Deja One. It was like a catering hall where they did shows. The last show there, I think it was in '99. It was like E-Town and No Innocent Victim. Like the show got broken up because there was just so much fighting, and the fighting like went outside, and and that was one of the reasons that venue there was no more shows there anymore. But there was so many of those type of shows back in the day. Yeah, I mean, like I wasn't in like my era of like late '90s, early 2000s. That wasn't like the most violent era, but there was definitely like local shows that would get broken up because of fighting or people being stupid and shit like that. So that's probably like one of the bigger shows that got broken up and stopped because people were just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think like the most disappointing live show I've ever seen for like performance basis was I was at a festival and I decided to check out Marilyn Manson because he was playing there. And he was so coked. I think it was coke at the time he was like hopped up on, but he was just such a mess that he couldn't remember the words to his own songs. He like tripped over and fell on stage. He was spitting on band members and like just randomly started like incoherently muttering into the mic for a bit. And I was like, dude, this is embarrassing. Like you're like a really big name act, like you're not like some nobody. People came, you were a draw card for the festival.
Yeah,
it was bad, dude.
That guy sucks. Fuck that guy.
Yep.
Oh, worst. Okay, so worst band I've ever seen, like worst live band I've ever seen. And I'm a big fan. The Sisters of Mercy in New York City.
Right. Okay.
They were terrible. Absolute horrible. Just one of the worst. It was just like, this is terrible. Terrible band. Terrible live band. I'd still go see them again if they came to the States, but they were not great.
Just like poor performance, bad sound.
I don't. They had like no bass player, and it was just like I don't know why it was so bad. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. They played like a lot of material. Like their thing now is they write new songs and they only play them live, but they don't record them. They don't release them. So they were playing a lot of songs that I'd kind of never heard before. And he sucked. He was just terrible live. He couldn't really. He probably just had a bad night, and the band was kind of corny, and they kind of did like cheesy 80s metal versions of like their hits. So I was like, oh, this is awful. I don't want to. This was a waste of money.
I heard
so that was probably the worst show I've ever seen, but it wasn't because of like it didn't get broken up because of fights. It was just because they just
bad performance
sucked that night. They didn't have it.
I heard that the Motley Crue at the moment is the same. Like apparently the last like year worth of gigs that they've done, people have booed them off stage almost every concert type thing. Because mostly it's Vince Neil. Like Vince Neil can't.
Oh yeah, they need to stop. They're going for that last cash in, but they need to. I saw Vince Neil play live once. He was probably it was so bad. He was just so fat and bad. It was just a joke. It was like 200 people there. It was just an embarrassment.
Oh, it's depressing.
Yeah.
It's like people need to like, I don't know, learn when to hang the towel up. It's like, you're done. Just, you have a legacy, leave it intact, move on. It's over. Okay, so that basically brings it to the end of time for us. Before we wrap up, Greg, do you anything you want to tell people to look out for that's coming up, like live shows, pre-orders, that sort of thing?
Sure. The record, like we said before, was released. The vinyl and the CDs will be available shortly. We have a week of shows in September that we will be on the road for. And then look out for November. We're going to be hitting the middle of the country. And that's all that is planned for now. People can go to the Bandcamp, falsegods1.bandcamp.com. We're going to be adding more merch and all that stuff. And we're going to keep on rocking and rolling, as they say, until we can't.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was great having you on the show. Thank you for taking the time. And maybe if you do another album in the future, we'll get you on to talk about that one too, if that works for you.
Oh, this was a blast, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll be back next time with another guest. Okay.